light shining individually, collectively transforming community, peace in our human family.
One love, one growth, as above, so below. Feel the pain in my soul, the red pill dissolved. Organized, no matter the cost. Politicians start wars, they don't fight, they sit in the poor. And nothing lasts forever as long as we stay together. Give hell to the masses, watch the unity rapture. This is for the kids and the culture. It's one love, one growth, one light, light warriors. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jamar Jabari, and welcome to the Jabari VOC podcast. And I have a very special guest here. His name is Taye Uhuru. Did I say it right, brother?
Yeah,
I got to
Taye
switch it up.
Uhuru, peace family.
Yeah, peace.
Thank you
I
so much
realized I
for
got to
having
switch
me on.
your.
I truly appreciate you.
Oh, definitely. Thank you so much for reaching out, because you are a very awesome person. You're the type of people that I want to like have on the podcast, talk about a lot of great topics and stuff. I'm going to have to switch your promo here because I put Camp Cleveland from your Facebook, but
Oh,
I'll have
that's
to switch
cool. You
that
can
later.
leave it. That's dope.
I
No,
leave it.
that's
Okay.
cool. Yeah. Thank you. That flyer is real nice. I appreciate
oh,
that too.
thank you. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Ty. Like,
Okay, I'm an author. I just released my first book called The Afro Set. I'm a historian, a genealogist, an archivist. I'm a musician. I'm an MC. I'm a world traveler. I visited and traveled to roughly 70 countries around the world.
wow, that's incredible. So do you have like a top five favorite countries?
Man, they would all be in Africa for sure. I've been to almost
Word.
20 African countries. So let me see, South Africa, Ethiopia, Cape Verde, Ghana, Madagascar, Ethiopia. Them
Nice.
definitely some of my favorites.
I want to go to Ghana so bad. I mentioned that a lot on this podcast.
Oh, Ghana is
Where-
dope, man. I do educational tours. I take groups to Africa. Let me know if you want to roll with us.
word. And he has a flyer that he sent me, so I'm definitely going to make sure I share that flyer out and share out his information. So what got you so into doing this work? Like, you're basically just helping people could reconnect, and that's awesome.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I started traveling when I was young. My mom, she was a bus driver. She drove a Greyhound. So she would take us on trips, to places like New York, Chicago, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, places within driving distance. And then when I got
Sorry about
older, oh no, it's
that.
all
I hit the
good.
wrong button. Sorry about that. Continue.
Yeah. So, once I got older, I continued to travel, and I always had a love for African people and African history and Black people, on a global perspective. 'Cause my great grandfather, he was in the UNIA. They came from Atlanta and they moved to Cleveland in the 1920s. And he was a follower of Marcus Garvey. My grandmother used to tell me about it because she went to some of the meetings and some of the parades. She told me about them raising the red, black, and green flag in my city and,
Nice.
different things like that. She said that her father told her that they was Africans and they should move back to Africa. And then my uncle, my great grandfather's grandson, he started his own Black Power organization in the 1960s in Cleveland. It was called the Afro set. Afro was short for African. So, my family, has a history of cooperative economics and giving back to the community and Black nationalism and Black history and things like that.
That's so important, especially now in this time and era where we are now seeing a reconnection through our culture, through mainstream and in our culture within community. Um, I honestly am like so happy about that because I noticed that we have had disconnections in the past. And I really love how there's a revitalized statement saying that we need to like be more connected with our people in Africa, especially being descendants from Africa. So
Yeah,
I love that.
definitely, man.
I read so much about Marcus Garvey as well too. That's so fucking dope that like you come like your family was Garvinites. Like wow, like it's dope as hell. So
Thank.
when you first went, how how like what was it like when you first experienced going to Africa?
Oh, it was amazing, man. I was blown away. It was one of the best experiences of my life. I had a friend, she lived in South Africa. She's from Cape Town, and she had invited me out there, to visit. And then when I got out there, it was just a very beautiful place, very beautiful people. The weather was nice, beautiful beaches and landscapes and animals. They had nice malls, nice cars, BMWs, Bentleys, Benzes, everything you could think of, cell phones and technology. But I went almost a decade ago, so back then there wasn't a lot of content,
Hmm.
as far as Africa and South Africa in particular, positive content. It would be
Right.
rape, murder, disease, warfare, stuff like that. They didn't show the developed side of Africa. So, man, and like I say, the people I met, they were very friendly, very welcoming. She introduced me to her friends and they family. They cooked for me. It was almost like a celebration. They welcomed me home.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. See, that's amazing, and that story needs to be like, which I'm already know you're doing a great job, but like more people need to talk about that visit Africa, especially our people, because we still have this ideal on the African American side. Like I've spoken to some of my cousins and stuff. They think that Africans do not want us over there. They think Africans hate us. Um, and that's why they always say, "Oh, that's why when I travel, I don't go to Africa. I'll either go to Latin America or I'll go to Europe." And I'm just like, "No, like you make more money than me. You should be taking advantage of this opportunity and seeing what is the truth." But it's just it's that stigma, and if it's not even that, then they'll say, "Oh, well, they're poor there." It's just like we are just so like colonized to like not want to have any attachment with our true origin because of all this pain and suffering. So like stories
Oh
like this
yeah,
make us more
definitely.
emphatic.
You're right. You're right.
So you say you dropped the book. Is this your first book or do you have like multiple books?
This is my first book. It's called The Afro Set. So, like I said, my uncle he co-founded this group in the 1960s, and this was during the Black Power movement. So his
Yes.
organization was basically like they had a lot of social programs, breakfast programs, free lunch. Um, they did a lot of positive things in the community. They did community policing. If pimps came into the community, they would run them out. Prostitutes, they would run them out. Drug dealers, things like that. They would try to shut them down. When the police came into the community harassing people, they would confront them. So it's a very exciting book. A lot of shootouts, rebellions,
Wow.
uprisings, riots, and different things like that. They opened up the theater. They would do poetry readings, fashion shows, musical performances, things like that. They had a lot of classes too. They taught self-defense. They trained with the rifles. They trained with machetes, sticks. They did military drills, things like that. They had classes on drug awareness, economics. They taught African language. They taught Swahili. They taught African history,
Wow.
and different things like that. So and they had a nursery also, because it
Oh
was
really?
more like a family orientated structure. So a lot of people that joined were from the community. They were brothers and sisters, cousins, aunts and uncles. Some mothers brought their kids up there. Some people met in the Afro set and they married and they had babies. And then that's why they developed the nursery. So and they had a shop. They had shops also. They opened up a few shops in Cleveland, Columbus, West Virginia. They were going to different cities, and in the shops they were selling things like dashikis, Afrocentric dresses, scarves, necklaces, earrings. They were making pottery. They were making paintings. So they were independently funded. And they were at the forefront of reintroducing Cleveland and a lot of African Americans too that African history. Because, like I say, just 10 years ago, you really couldn't find positive information about Africa, let alone in the 1960s. It was
Yeah.
almost non existent. So it was a
Oh
very
yeah.
significant, organization.
Oh yeah. Oh definitely. And it's I I have people that I just met, and I don't want to say their names, but like I have had conversations with them and stuff like that, like non-black people. And even if you just mention Africa, they're just like, oh well, they're poor, and like that's just the total. That's just the general mindset. It's just every part of Africa is poor, and like yeah, of course there is a good amount, but you also have to recognize the wealth there. You also have to recognize the politics there. You have to learn. You have to understand why are these countries like being like exploited, because that's what it is. Like I always, some people disagree with me, but I always say there's no such thing as a poor country. No country is poor, because the wealth, it's about what the wealth distribution is. And if the wealth is not going towards the people, so of course you're going to think this country is poor, but there's wealth in that country. There's resources in that country, and you need to, and we got to understand that those resources are not being allocated through the people or the citizens. It's being allocated through the rich, and the rich is getting it off. The colonialism is benefiting from the wealth of that country. I just hope like in the future that type of language is just destroyed, because it just belittles what potential any country can have. Um, and so the group that you were talking about, that's that were they a part of the Black Panthers, or is this like another whole group that was adjacent with the Black Panthers? Is it like
Well, they were out around the same time as the Black Panthers, but they were a little different. They were more Afrocentric. Like for example, many of the Black Panthers, Fred Hampton, Bobby Seale, Huey Newton, Eldridge Cleaver. You know, many of them they kept their real names, or they kept the names that they were given at birth. You know,
mm-hmm,
but the Afro set was a little bit different. When you joined the Afro set, they gave you an African name. You know, so it was more focused on African history and culture than the Black Panthers. I think the Black Panthers they focused a little bit more on socialism and
yes,
communism and things like that. And in the book I talk about this. The first black nationalist group of the 1960s was RAM. So a lot of the influences and the things that we attribute to the Black Panthers, by them being the most popular group, the most known group, you know,
mm-hmm,
many of these Black power groups they drew from RAM, the Revolutionary Action Movement, which was co-founded in 1962. And that's a very important thing because this group was founded before Malcolm X died. So they actually got a chance to work with Malcolm X, whereas the Panthers, the Afro Set, the Black Liberation Army, the Republic of New Africa, the US organization, all of these groups were formed after the death of Malcolm X. So RAM was actually co-founded by a Clevelander, Don Freeman. So a lot of those influences and things, you know, that knowledge they got
mm-hmm.
from Don Freeman. He was one of the editors of Soul Book. Robert F. Williams was the chairman of RAM. Huey Newton stated that Negroes with Guns was one of the most influential books he had ever read. You know,
Mm-hmm.
Ram had a chapter in Cleveland, Philadelphia, Chicago, Detroit, and they had a chapter in Oakland. So, you know, they were active with people like Bobby Seale and Huey Newton before the formation of the Black Panther. So, those are a lot of little things that people don't know that kind of point
Yeah,
back to the city of Cleveland.
you're educating me right now. I did not know this. I did
Oh,
not
okay.
know this
No,
at
it's all good. Just sharing the information. But it's you know it's important information, you know.
right, right. Very important. I didn't know this at all. I did, because all what I've read is just like um just how the Black Panthers are created, and of course on everything about Bobby Seale and Fred Hampton, and yeah, I didn't know that there was another group called RAM that was around before Malcolm X was assassinated. And just off of Malcolm X, like what he did, just trying to build such a connection between African people, just this shows just how powerful, because this movement is still going. We
Yeah,
still have.
definitely. I mean, you're right. You're right. I mean, but that's like why I do the educational tour to clear up a lot of misconceptions and misinformation about Africa. Like you said
Yeah,
earlier, a lot of times we hear people say Africans don't like African Americans, but
yeah,
the reality of it is I never met any African Americans that said, you know what, I was minding my own business and a group of Africans jumped me. or an
Yeah,
African robbed me, or an African gang shot up my house, or
yeah,
the things that we even see with the police, where we seeing black people getting shot because they got a knife, or they getting shot because they pulled out their wallet, or they got their knee on their neck. And we see so many other groups of people, including ourselves, do horrendous things to African Americans, but I've never seen Africans in general participate in any of this. So if Africans hate us, if Africans don't like us, what do we call what all of these other groups do to us, And a
right.
lot of information you can look up, you can find. The United Nations, they do a survey every year. They rank each country in the world based on crime rate, gun violence, mass shootings, militarization, and things like that. And there are dozens and dozens of African countries that are far safer than the United States. Lower crime rate, lower mass shootings, lower homicide, lower violent crimes. A lot of this information is concrete, and you can look it up yourself. Like you mentioned, Ghana is two, three times more safer than the United States, let alone a city like Cleveland or Detroit or New Orleans or Chicago or, LA, where it's just brothers and sisters getting killed every day. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I so agree, and I think that the way that I don't know actually, but I do see a lot of good things in the mainstream with the movies and stuff like that. Um, I do think that there's a different tone, a new direction compared to the films we had in the '80s, in the '90s when it was like black films. I do see more of a connection, or more of a nuance, so to say. So I think that it's happening, and I hope that it continues because I just read a survey about how thousands of African Americans have relocated to Ghana and they not coming back. So
Oh
so
yeah, no doubt. That's the goal, man. You go to Ghana, you're gonna be amazed. But the thing is this, it's more countries in Africa than any other continent in the world. It's almost 60 different countries in Africa.
yeah,
Africa is the most genetically diverse continent in the world. You feel what I'm saying? A country like Ethiopia is 80 different ethnic groups. You know what I'm saying? How many continents have that much diversity? South Africa is 11 official languages. You get what I'm saying? So it's thousands of tribes, thousands of
amazing.
languages. You know what I'm saying? Just imagine, like you say, your friends go to Europe or they go to South America or North America, for example. We go to, say, America, Canada, Mexico, Jamaica, Haiti, Dominican Republic. These places are totally different. The lifestyle is different. The weather is different. The people look different. The food is different. So many things. But if you go to Africa, Africa is 10 times more diverse than that. If you go to Egypt and go to Ghana, then go to South Africa, it's like going to a whole nother planet. You know what I'm saying? So each country provides a unique experience within itself.
Have you been to Egypt?
Yeah, probably like 10 times.
Is there a
Definitely.
lot of brothers there?
Yeah, definitely. Millions of dark skinned black people. But
They be
Egypt,
trying to say that it's only Middle Eastern people here. Like everybody over here just thinks that.
well, it is some truth to that. See, the thing is this. Okay, the Arab invasion, I think, was like in the seventh, sixth century or something like that. So
Mhm.
it's not the same demographic population that it was 5,000 years ago. So if you go to Lower Egypt, which is in the north, go to Alexandria, Cairo, you'll see more Arabs. They are the ruling class. The name of the country is the Arab Republic of Egypt. That's the official name of it. And when you go to
Uh,
when you go into Upper Egypt, when you go south, you go to Aswan, Abu Simbel, even Luxor, you see very, very dark skinned people, clearly black people. So it's kind of almost segregated, but there are millions of black people in Egypt. But like I say, the ruling class are whiter, Arab looking people.
okay, okay. So that
You see a
that
lot of Nubians. You would call them we call them Nubians, but they're Egyptians too.
yeah. See, I would see now that makes sense to me because I used to always think for years like why do people always associate Egypt now to the Middle East when it's not even in the Middle East? It's African. Like I was
Oh
just
yeah,
all
definitely. Because it was, I mean, but that's a part of history. You know, most African Americans, we don't really know what happened in America, let alone what happened in Africa. So you
Right.
got the Moors in the 7th century, you got the Arab invasion, you got colonialism, you got the scramble for Africa. You know, a lot of us are not familiar with those things and they're not explained to us. But you also have to go over there and see things for yourself. Now, in terms of the pyramids, the Valley of the Kings, the Valley of the Queens, um, and all of the murals and the ancient artwork, the people are dark skinned, they're black, they have
Yeah.
afros, they have braids. You know, it's kind of like America, the demographics of America in 2020 versus 5,000 years ago. What did the population look like? Or even 500 years ago. You know what I'm saying? So,
Right. Right. And shouts out to the indigenous people, by the way.
oh, yeah, for sure.
Definitely much love to them. They are, but like I just think I'm so glad you reached out to me because like this is I'm learning a lot, man. And
Oh,
I
me
feel
too.
like
I'm glad you even give me the opportunity. I'm thankful for you, brother.
oh man, come on, man. Come on. You already knew that you was gonna get on this show, bro. Just who you are is all about what everything that we talk about all the time here in Connecticut.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna have to come out there, man.
Oh hell yeah, we'll host
Check
you.
y'all
You know
out.
what I mean? I have I'm part of a socialist party, so we do a lot of events on Black
Okay,
liberation,
cool.
LGBTQ liberation. So definitely would love to have you like a guest speaker or something like that. That would be
Thank you, thank you.
freaking
It would be
phenomenal.
an
You know what I
honor.
mean? Hey, did you add me on Facebook? Let's definitely stay connected.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm gonna definitely add you. I hope I did.
Oh, word. So moving forward, your music. Did I haven't gotten a chance to listen to your music yet, but if you can, to somebody that, like, say, I'm someone that just want to know a summary, like, what is the messages and what is the type of genres that you like dabble into with your music?
Um, I mean, I'm an MC. I'm a hip hop artist. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? I come from Cleveland, so it's a little bit of that in my music, but for the most part, my music is you know, what you consider conscious music, uplifting black people, black excellence. So the last two songs I released, Do Revolutionaries Go to Heaven? That's a song that I wrote, recorded, and filmed. We did a music video in South Africa. In 2020, I was living in South Africa during the pandemic. So I spent a year in there. I spent a year in Johannesburg, and the neighborhood I lived in is called Mabo Nang. So it's like an art district. It's a very unique place because it's a lot of rappers, singers, drummers, poets, photographers, dancers, singers, artists of all types live in this community. You know, I never been in a neighborhood like that. So I was able to, although everything was locked down, only thing was open was the grocery stores. But I was just blessed because, you know, next door to me, a rapper lived next door. Upstairs, a producer lived upstairs. A photographer lived downstairs. A singer lived around the hall. You know, so I was still able to keep my spirits lifted and do what I love to do. So when I would go outside to the store every day, they had these murals on the wall. You know, pictures of Marcus Garvey, Harriet Tubman, Malcolm X, Nelson
Wow.
Mandela, all of these strong, great black leaders. So I wrote this song and I recorded it. It's called "Do Revolutionaries Go to Heaven?" You know, so many people were dying last year and we
Yeah.
really didn't know what was going to happen with the world. So,
Yeah.
you know, I was influenced by that. And then another video I did the same year, it's called "The Blacker the Berry." You know, it's just basically an ode to black women, you know, just letting them know that they are beautiful, you know, especially the dark skinned
Yeah.
queens, but also brown skin, light skin, mixed, you know, whatever. You know, we got black people all over the world. At least
Yeah.
that's my perspective of it, you know, because I lived in Brazil, I lived in the Dominican Republic. I've
Right.
been to the Philippines. I've been to Asia and Malaysia and Indonesia, and I've seen black people there as well, you know. So
Wow. Wow. Yeah. Latin America, from my understanding, is the second largest population for African American descent people.
yeah, possibly, man. We all over, you know what I'm saying? So I
Yeah.
think it's like this. Brazil is the largest Latin American country, which has the largest Latin American population, which Brazil is majority black people, what we would consider black, either two black parents mix or their grandmother or great grandmother. They have a significant amount of African ancestry in Brazil, and they retained a little bit more African culture and
Right.
music and dance, and you could see it a little bit more. because it was more Africans taken. I think it was maybe 4 or 5 million were taken
Right.
to Brazil, whereas in America it was only maybe a couple 100,000. You get what
Right.
I'm saying?
They don't know that history. They don't know that, and
Right.
we didn't even know that they were freeing themselves in the Caribbean before, like 60 years before we waited for Abraham Lincoln to do something here. Like,
Yeah.
I, I gotta remind people that because I just feel like we still are in this colonized mindset, just thinking like if we just get a good white man to like run shit for us, like how people were just so conformed to Biden, just pissed me off with my black community. Like, bro, no, no,
Yeah, man.
we don't need a white savior. He's
But I
not a
mean,
white
you
savior.
doing your part, man. You got your show. You can educate people. I'm sure people tuning in, and
Oh yeah,
so you
I got a little
definitely
bit of
doing your
people,
thing.
but I'm trying. I'm trying. It's
You,
all about
you
sending the
appreciate
message.
it, bro.
And also, I want to ask you. So, um, crap. There was something I wanted to ask you that was very important because you mentioned it when you were discussing your music. Um, but so let's wait. It might come back to me. And I hate when this happens. I lose my thought. But Brazil, definitely their jujitsu. Not jujitsu. Their capoeira. Uh, P- capoeira. Yo, I forget it.
Capoeira.
It was like the dancing when you mentioned that they got that from Kenya. That was from ancestors of Kenya, and
Oh yeah, they definitely brought that from Africa. I took capoeira in Brazil.
oh, for real, nice, nice.
Yeah,
I need to
definitely.
get back in shape so I can try those kicks again. It looked
Oh
good.
yeah, you would like it. It's fun because it's like dancing too, so you can mix it up. Because a lot of people don't know what capoeira is. It's a dance, but it's a martial art. So they would practice dancing, when they were around their masters because it was outlawed. But then
Right,
when they were by themselves, they would use those same dance moves as defense mechanisms. You know what I'm saying? Because when like we would run away, we would flee to the north or flee to the south and try to integrate into another population of people. But when they ran away, they would build their own villages. They was called quilombos, and some of them were very successful. They were able to fend off, the Europeans for hundreds of years. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah. So I definitely, that's definitely a history I need to teach in the schools. And also, like I play percussion instruments. My
oh,
main
okay.
instrument that I play is the djembe, and I literally talk about it all the time how we use drums to signal rebellions and to
Mm,
signal like tactics to attack whatever white master that we had to get after and stuff like that. Like it was just so many intelligent ways that we use to communicate with each other without words, just so we can just fuck shit up for
yeah,
freedom.
yeah.
For freedom.
Yeah, we
You
made a
know?
we made we had a lot of victories, that people don't talk about or they don't know about. You know what I'm saying? A lot of success fighting back.
Right. And I boycotted watching slave movies for right now because I just feel like that's all they show here in America until they started coming out with Black Panther and everything. Because and I heard that that Michael B. Jordan, when they dropped this movie Mansa Musa, I think it's going to be very significant of showing like a past before slavery, before colonial colonialization. I think it's going to show a past of just how rich and bright, vibrant Africa it was, and how Africa still is. And I hope it brings out a message that's positive. And I still haven't like fully tried to like understand what is it that I want from that movie, the message to bring out. But I hope that it brings out something that shows just how beautiful and how like it will make people want to visit more. Honestly, that's what I think it is.
Definitely. And learn more also.
Right, right, and and it'll drop away. and kill stigmas of what they always thought about Africa. Um, because like even like they'll just make jokes about it now and be like African babies are starving and shit like that. I'm just like, bro, like the fuck, like
I
even if
mean,
it's
it's
a
a lot
small
of brothers
joke,
and
it's
sisters.
like
Yeah.
yeah, it still bothers them. And it's like they're not the only ones. We gotta think about the Yemen kids. We gotta think about all these people that are being starved by the rich elite and the power that they have, and we should be talking about bringing down that power and instead of just making jokes about starving children. Like it's just so weird. It's so weird. Um, and also, I remember my question now. So when you were in South Africa, COVID, what was that like in South Africa?
I mean, honestly, living in South Africa was a amazing experience. I mean, I couldn't have been locked down in no other better place than South Africa. I got a lot of friends there, and like I say, the neighborhood that I was living in, Maboneng, I had everything I needed. I could record music, I could shoot videos, I could write songs, I could blast my music. You know what I'm saying? So it's a very lively area. Although the bars and the restaurants were shut down, a lot of people still would come through the area. You know what I'm saying? So it was amazing, man.
Right. And did they lose a lot of people, or was it like controlled easier? Or
Well, I mean, in terms of 2020, Africa as a whole didn't suffer as much from the pandemic. I think Africa
right,
suffered the least amount out of all the continents, but I'm not really sure right now. I think the numbers in South Africa is probably the highest in Africa at this time in 2021.
have you met any Cuban doctors?
Say that again.
Have you met any Cuban doctors?
Have I met a Cuban doctor? Yeah, I stayed with a Cuban family that was doctors.
Oh wow, nice. Yeah, because that's another thing. Like people think Cuba, like healthcare is just trash, and I'm just like, bro, like they was in Italy, they saved Italy, now they're in Africa, and like it's like you're not reading this. Where do you get
Yeah,
information?
no, Cuba, they have free healthcare, they have free college. It's just how can I say it? Like if you looking at it just materialistically, you look at like, oh, the cars is old, the buildings look old. But as far as their access to technology and medicine, that's probably one of the best places that you can go. You know what I'm saying? As far as Cuba, they have programs where African Americans can move to Cuba and go to college for free. You know what I'm saying? And learn as in terms of medicine, they can study for free.
Right, right. But my brother, like when I say this in Connecticut, people look at me like I got three heads. Like, especially when they freak out about this thing right over there. like,
Hmm.
like, what are you talking about? And then they give the same speech that they heard in school. I have you probably should look up your history. Fidel Castro has murdered millions of people. Like,
But
really?
I mean, but when you in Cuba, I'll tell you this: like when you in America, every video, every picture that you'll see of Castro, he have on the army uniform. He have on the green uniform, and he's always like yelling. You know what I'm saying? But when you in Cuba, and I've seen this for myself, you see pictures of him playing basketball. He have on regular clothes. You see videos of him playing tennis or swimming. You know what I'm saying? They show him as a human. You know what I'm saying? But he has done a lot. I would say Cuba, Cuba, Che Guevara, they have done a lot to aid and assist African countries. They helped South Africa, Nelson Mandela. They helped Angola, Namibia, the Congo.
Mhm.
They've sent thousands of troops, thousands of weapons and food and medical supplies in efforts to help liberate African countries from European colonialization. But that's something they will never teach you. You feel what I'm
No,
saying?
no, no. And it's kind of sad that it's like that because there would have been so much more for what humanitarians that self-proclaim honestly humanitarians here in the United States that say that they're pro human rights, but they still believe every single red scare that the United States throw at them, while the United States is the leader of no of not actual human rights. They go to wars just to be against human rights, but apparently what they say, what the FBI say, what the CIA say is always just going to be seen as facts and put inside our books to believe 24/7. When the CIA and FBI has dealt in so many ways to try to kill our own leaders, but we want to trust them. It's just it's mind-boggling. Just how fabricated and strongly it's felt, and I Cuba is definitely one of those places I just want to go to so bad, just because of their connection that they keep towards Africa. And I was able to see one of their fashion shows and how beautiful their fashion shows were. It literally just made me like, I was like, God, I need to go. I need to go there.
Yeah,
So
definitely. You should definitely go to Cuba for sure. You'll like it. Mostly everybody I know, they have a good time down there. It's a very unique place. It's not too many places in the world that you're
uh,
gonna find like Cuba because you still I guess it's still what's the word I'm looking for? Like I think recently they just started allowing people to get on the internet. Like I said, the cars and the buildings are still old fashioned. So it's like you kind of going back into time.
yeah,
But you know, it's a good experience. It's a place that I would recommend everybody go to Cuba, at least to
I
visit. But you
I think
gotta
you're
you
getting
gotta
some
check
great.
what you say.
Oh, go ahead, go ahead.
No, no, I was gonna say you have to double check because sometimes they change it. Every time we get a new president, you know, they put new
Yeah,
stipulations on it and things like that. I had one a couple years ago, so
yeah.
I've been
That
like
was
two or
during
three times.
Obama, right? That was during Obama's era.
I went there. I think I went when Trump was in office too. I went like
Oh,
two or
really?
three times.
Oh, I thought he banned people.
He was trying to, so I don't know. They might have closed it. You know, like I have to double
Yeah,
check.
and that's crazy within itself. But that's how they are. They want to come after Latin America real hard. They want to say it's our backyard, like as if they have claim to whatever politics that self-determined governments have there. But that's just a whole nother discussion. It's just the same way they treat Africa. I was reading Obama's book, and he was talking about how he felt bad about bombing the African countries there, and how he had to kill these African terrorists, and then was thinking like, oh, I could have brought them to new schools or something like that. I'm like, okay, so why didn't you think of an alternative before you just started just killing kids? Like you literally are saying you drone strike kids and shit. Like anybody reading this and like not
Mm,
thinking, like
mm.
this fucked me up. It's a very deep understanding that like we have to like kill this Western ideal. It's the Western ideal that's not giving us our true identity, and you're definitely one of the people that are on the forefront that's killing this Western ideal and like showing people. And you're from America. You're African American, right? Like
Yeah, I'm from Cleveland, Ohio.
it's amazing. Like I can't even believe it. Like you meet so many people, so many black people. Like I come from a church of like my dad was a pastor, so you already know just how like much we just like try to stay away from topics like this, and just even bringing up topics like this, just the biasness that we were saying, and that's just from our hearts because that's all we knew. But if we were to
Hmm.
like travel more and get a more clear understanding. I'm not Christian right now, but if I was like able to bring my parents to where the places that you were talking about, just how they'll probably break down and cry. Honestly, it's like wow, like for years I've just been thinking a certain way, but it's really so much better. Um, I definitely want to have you back on this show, but
Oh yeah,
there's
it'll be an
a lot of
honor, King.
entities going on right now, so I
Oh
do
no, it's
appreciate
good,
our
man.
show.
I appreciate this. Shit, I ain't complaining, bro. I'm enjoying every minute of it.
Word, word, word. Let's definitely try to get you back on, man, because this is This is freaking dope. And to everybody that's going to be hearing this next week, I'm going to send out his links and also have his flyer out so you could try to take advantage of the opportunities because he's helping people travel and stuff to get over there. It's like a little payment plan and stuff you do, right? It's explained in the flyer.
Well, yeah, I can break it down for you. Okay, so we got 7 African tours.
Mm-hmm.
Right now we go to Ghana, South Africa, Kenya, Egypt, Cape Verde, Senegal, and I'm looking to
Okay.
add some more tours. You know, maybe we could add Tanzania and Madagascar and a few other places. You could go any time of the year. You could pay in full or you could do a payment plan. So if you want to plan it for 5 years from now, 3 years from now, next year, next month, you could do it. It's flexible. You could visit one country or you could visit multiple countries. If you want to stay for 1 week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, it's very flexible. Um, the tours include a round trip flight, hotel, breakfast, dinner, all of the activities. So, for example, if we visit Egypt, we go to the Valley of the Kings, the Valley of the Queens, Hatshepsut's Temple, Temple of Karnak, Temple of Luxor, Red Pyramid, Bent Pyramid, Step Pyramid, Pyramids of Giza, ride the camels, ride on the Nile River, go to the Cairo Museum. All of these activities are included. Once you pay, you don't have to pay again for admission or transportation or anything like that. The tours include flight insurance. The tours include travel insurance. If you get sick, get injured, if you get COVID and you can't take the trip, you will be reimbursed through the insurance company. So it's a very safe and fun experience.
Okay. Yeah. Definitely check that out, everybody. I'm definitely gonna check this out. So, and you guys have like certain dates, like little deadlines if someone's trying to like travel like within a year, like what like a date to look forward to.
They can go any time of the year, whatever dates is good for you. So like I'm
Oh,
supposed to
oh,
do a tour in May, then I got another one coming up in October, then another one in December. So you can go any time of the year. You can pick your own dates. Or if you want me to add you to another group, I could do that too. You know what I'm saying? Either way is fine.
that's absolutely amazing. Thank you, Ty, so much for your time, and we'll love to have you back on again.
All
And
right,
this is
King. Peace.
peace, brother. And this is
All
your
right. If
Dominican
y'all
Republic.
need to contact me, I know you said you're gonna throw the links up. I'm on
Yep,
Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and I'm under the name Camp Cleveland. And I have a website too, campcleveland.org.
have a good one, brother.
All right, peace, King.